Hello everybody, welcome back to the post-divorce existence. My name is Jonathan, and well, laugh or cry, you decide by the end of this video. I was compelled to make this video today because, well, first of all, I haven't checked in with you all for a very long time, but number two, it's very interesting. A couple months ago, as you all may or may not have known, that I was living in China for over 20 years, had a relationship with a Chinese woman that ended. And so this Chinese friend of mine with her friend, this Chinese friend is, in her 60s, and her friend is pushing late 60s, early 70s. I went with them to the park, and they were like, oh, as is typical in China, oh, your Chinese is so good, we need to find you a mate. It was like, every time I've heard that, it's always kind of like, oh, brother, they're always going to find somebody, and it's always like, in their minds, you've got to be with somebody or else it's pointless. So I was kind of like, they asked me to show a picture of my ex, and they were like, this one woman, sorry, not my friend, but the friend of that friend, was like, oh, I understand now. And I was like, what do you understand? She's like, well, you Westerners have a very different taste in women than we Chinese. You find certain types beautiful that we don't find beautiful at all. And I thought to myself, oh God, it's from the Chinese perspective, they think they're not saying anything like rude or, hurtful, but I was just listening to that. I was just thinking to myself, my God, first of all, not talking about my ex-wife, but I never heard that statement in regards to my ex-wife. Chinese themselves had found my ex-wife attractive. So, I'll just leave it at that. So I just thought it was really rather strange. And so this woman took it upon herself to go back to China. She didn't take it upon herself. She went back to China, but took it upon herself after going back to China to then put out feelers to her classmates or friends or whatever, looking for whatever potential leftover individual. I term it that way because many times in China, that's kind of what it is, women in their 30s, they call them that. And not that I'm saying that I call them that, but that's what they're called in Chinese. People that have remained unmarried, couldn't find a mate, they call them leftover by either men or women. And then I get this text message, maybe a week later, and it's this woman who's added me to WeChat and sends me a picture, and this picture is like this woman who's like, in her late 50s, early 60s, at least. I was like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not saying I'm God's gift, but I was just like, I'm not interested in dating someone, above my pay grade, so to speak. But it was just strange, and I was like, I told the woman, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And she's just like, oh, but she works at the television station in Beijing, just like you did. And, she's really smart and all this kind of stuff, etc. And, you don't have to find yourself a really smart woman. You can just find yourself somebody who's, as the Chinese say, 过日子, which means like basically like kind of waste the days away together, and basically, someone who can be an adequate partner. I wasn't interested, and I told her as such. I basically told her, I said, I'm not looking for someone to fill the bed, to warm the bed. It's just like, it's unbelievable. And she didn't really quite understand that. And it's funny because later on, and I'm still wrapping my head around this. I really don't quite understand how this came to pass. But one day I was at that friend I was with that friend at Costco shopping around because she has a membership, and she was telling me, she's like, oh, I was talking to my friend, and she said, oh, Jonathan doesn't like this woman, and then this friend of mine, she said, oh, I want to ask you, Jonathan, do you have libido? Do you have a sexual libido? I thought to myself, I started to laugh. I was just like, what? What are you talking about? And she was like, oh, because my friend asked that question, if I have any libido. I thought, what the fuck? Where is this coming from? So basically, later on, they found out that this woman who added me on WeChat sent a picture. She sent a picture of, so this is the mother. She sent a picture of herself, didn't send a picture of her daughter. But it didn't matter, because by that time, I already told them, I'm really not interested. I'm not looking to kind of like, especially start up another relationship right now. I'm not, that's just how it is. But interestingly, this is what you get in the post-divorce world. I mean, you have friends who are, some who try and set you up, some who just think being alone is an abomination, and they don't get it. It's like now, after all this time, I'm much better about a lot of things. I'm honestly, I get to this point, I'm not just looking for a bed filler, better or for worse. That's how I term it, but a lot of people out there, especially people from certain cultures, believe if you're alone, there's something wrong with you. And that is something that I think that bears examination, especially when you're dealing with cross-cultural relations or ideas about marriage and whatnot. So I joke with that friend of mine, and I say, I ask her, I said, she says, you want to go out to get something to eat? And I said, I'm not sure. I'm feeling rather tired, and don't have much sexual libido, and she laughs and stuff like that, and she feels embarrassed. But just thought, the gall of someone to kind of ask that question, as if I'm ready to like get it on with anything, at this point, and I should be happy that anything would want to get it on with me, is part and parcel part of this really, really big problem, I guess, in our society and other societies, that people who are single are somehow damaged goods. It just so happens that my marriage didn't work out. Some people get the luck of the draw. Some people can ride that horse until completion, much like a Bronco rider, and it's like bully for them, and other people, they don't learn it. Other people, they don't know how to stay on that horse, but they want to keep on getting back on. Hey, everybody has their choice in life. But right now, what they fail to understand is that that's not priority one for me. Priority one for me is taking care of myself and getting to someplace better in this life. And only then can I have a chance to then be a partner to somebody, either boyfriend, or eventually husband to somebody. But until I get to that point, there's no reason to discuss it. That's it for today, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Leave any comments below. That's it. Jonathan for the Post-Divorce Existence. Peace.